Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily go-getterism number 631 for June 25th, 2016. Today I want to talk about when y'all fed up, somebody gotta go or somebody gotta get put out. This is a situation where we talking about people who are living together, sharing space, whether they are just boyfriend, girlfriend, or whether they are married to each other. You know, this is, I'm talking about when it's over. It's a wrap. Nah, no more. No mas. You know, there are situations where people move back in, but we get to that. We'll get to that later on if we have time. You know what I'm saying? Now, yesterday we was talking about when you're living under somebody's roof and you have to follow their rules. This is different. We're talking about when you're actually cohabitating. Like, you may be on a lease, they may be on a lease, or one person may be on a lease, but y'all are straight up living together. One person isn't living with another person. Y'all living together. You know, you could be married. It doesn't mean that you can't get put out. It doesn't mean that you can't get put out. And that's the wife or the husband. I've known both to get put out. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, you know, when you first get with a person, y'all decide to move in with each other. That's normally because everything is hunky-dory. A man and a woman don't normally hook up to live with each other just to be able to pay the bills. It happens sometimes. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but for the most part, y'all doing this because, you know, y'all feeling each other and y'all really want to get this relationship started and y'all want to be close to each other because y'all loving each other. And y'all figured since we can't spend every waking moment in front of each other, we'll try to make it so that at least we are able to come home to each other. So y'all move in with each other. The thing about moving in with each other, it's almost the same commitment as being married. Like, people don't want to look at it that way, and most women will not admit to that living together is like the same as being married. I mean, what are the differences? Y'all sharing finances. Y'all live together. There's a good chance that y'all have kids together, probably before or during. There are kids involved. A lot of times. You know, only thing that separates marriage from shacking up is the ability to be able to leave without any assets having to be divided, and the legality of it. You know, you're not married, you can just be like, I quit you. Pack up all your shit while they're at work and leave. Or pack up all their shit and throw it out. Speaking of packing up all their shit and throwing it out, you know, plenty of people have done that. That's what happens when the breakdown in communication happens with the whole live-in situation. It's not always sweet like that. But I'm sure I don't have to tell a lot of people that. We know that sometimes it don't go down right. And when it don't go down right, you have to find a way to make it go as smoothly as possible. And if that doesn't work, then it's time for y'all to separate. Now, when y'all separate, there are certain things that need to be put in place and agreed upon. Like, which one of y'all are leaving, or which one has the right to put the other one out. Now, there have been some men who have conceded to being put out. Locks get changed, you know, clothes either get cut up or paint poured on them, and, you know, bleach and all of that shit, put in trash bags, thrown out there on the lawn, all kinds of crazy stuff. But there have been men who have almost done the same things to women, so neither one of them is right. It's just ridiculous to do something like that to a person. But it does need to be decided upon who needs to move and why. Now, from a man's standpoint, strictly from a man's standpoint, if I have children with a woman and me and her breaking up, more than likely I'm going to let her keep the spot. It might even come down to me having to, you know, keep paying a portion of the rent while they stay there. It's like child support, basically. It's kind of like what it is. Now, in a situation where the children aren't mine, I mean, that question kind of answers itself. However, it doesn't automatically answer itself because I may have raised those children even though they're not biologically mine. So, you know, being like a father is being a father. where I'm from, so you can't just, leave a young boy or a little girl high and dry like that, because they miss their dad, or they miss their mom if it comes down to that. So, you know, if the woman in the relationship is going to have full custody, is going to have custody of the kids, then the right thing from my point of view is to leave and leave the kids in there with the mom, and still contribute to the household. And that's of course that's if you can afford it. But if you can't afford to move anyway, you need to chill until you get set up right, or go stay with your peoples or something like that, where you don't have to pay rent, or if they'll put you up for cheap. Breaking up is a hard thing to do, especially when you start talking about separating living space, because people talk in anger, like, I put a shit out, I can do bad by myself and all of that. But the separation gets really real when that person don't come home that night, and they ain't coming home the next night, and that's the reason why the door stays open for the move back in to happen. So, but that's when it really gets bad, because if you keep moving out and back in, out and back in, out and back in, now you're not going to be taken seriously, because you can't even take it seriously. I mean, when it really all comes down to it, you either want to leave or you want to stay. If you want to stay, you gotta go ahead and stay. Don't threaten to leave, because ain't nobody going to change just so you will stay. They might show a quick change, but you know how people do. They start acting right for like a week, and then it's back to the regular shit. So you gotta be careful of that. It's a difficult situation any way you shape it. And of course, let's say the husband and the wife scenario. If a wife, quote unquote, puts her husband out of the crib and they have kids, more than likely she's going to have custody of the children. So of course you're going to let them stay in the house. A real man, in my opinion, is not going to battle his wife over the kids. Over the crib, if she has custody of the kids. What you going to do? Stay in the house, then kick your wife and your children out? It's not going to happen. It's not normally what happens. It has happened in some cases. Some dudes are foul out there, and I don't normally get on brothers about the things that they do, because I understand. But right is right, wrong is wrong, and there's some things I just wasn't raised to do, and there were some things that I was raised to believe in. And a man don't take his kids out of his house. Just don't do that. So yes, women have the upper hand when it comes to that scenario most times, unless the dude is like totally ruthless, or she has done something that's so heinous that he just don't care, in which case you shouldn't give her custody of your children, because then it's not making no sense. So when it comes to this whole it normally comes down to whoever's name is on the lease, because whoever name is on the lease, they normally do the getting put out. They normally put out whose name is not on the lease. But it's not always sweet like that, because if you have lived somewhere for a while, whether your name is on the lease or not, if you have mail coming into that place, then you are a tenant, and they would have to go through the same channels that a landlord would have to go through in order to put a tenant out. So, you think you're going to bag up your man's shit and throw it out on the lawn or whatever, or throw it out the window or whatever, and when he tries to get back in because you changed the locks, you think you're going to call the cops and it's going to be sweet like that. It's not. As soon as he can verify that he has mail coming there and that he's been living there, the cops are going to tell you that you got to let him back in, and you can't put him out for that night if he hasn't put his hands on you. So a lot of times people will lie and say that somebody put their hands on them when they didn't. It gets ugly, the whole movement thing. So the best thing I can suggest is to make sure that you really want to live with a person when you move in with them. That's not to say that 5-6 years down the line, if y'all don't get married, that's not to say that's not going to go bad. But just like if you get married, that doesn't mean that 5-6 years down the line that y'all going to still be married. I've known people who have gotten married within 6 months, and then they was divorced within a year and a half. It happens. People out here looking for love, man, starving for love. Looking for the perfect one. Like, why you think Facebook and all of that shit is so popular? Internet dating and all of that. People wish it on a star. They don't know they're going to get somebody that's totally crazy out their mind. How could they know? How about you pay attention to what other people are going through? Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when it comes to the whole living thing, it's not always black and white. You know, sometimes the best thing to do is separate. Because you have to make a choice sometimes. Are you going to be unhappily together, or are you going to be happily separated? That doesn't mean that separation has to last forever. Sometimes people need to be apart in order to grow together. It happens sometimes. It sounds all cliche and crazy, but it happens. What can I say? It happens. The Urban Therapy with Son spring cleaning event happened today here on June 25th. Yo, it was the bomb, son. It was the bomb. Y'all see I got my tan, got my black on. Black, man. You know what I'm saying? Little shape. I'm black. Make sure y'all come out July 30th for the next one, because it's going to be the bomb, son. It's going to be the bomb, just like it was today. Shout out to all my spring cleaning event people. That thing is on fire, y'all. It was on fire. Holla at y'all later. Y'all be good. Have a good weekend. Peace.